This story, hi, it's Mr. Winter. This story was given to me by a friend, Alice and Greta, by Stephen J. Simmons, illustrated by Sid Moore. Can you guess what this story is going to be about? Once, a long time ago, two witches lived at the top of a mountain. Although they looked out at the same view, they saw things differently. Alice's outlook, like her clothes, was always rosy. Greta, on the other hand, had always on the lookout for trouble. She dressed in poison green, a color she liked to think was as putrid as her personality. Oh, how different Alice and Greta were. Alice and Greta had known each other ever since they were little witches at little Miss Mildred's Mildrew School of Magic. They learned the same spells, the same curses. Thanks for the warts, Alice! Gretchen! The same chance. Gnats, bees, dragonflies, donkey breath, spider sneeze! And the same bruise. And they use their magic differently. Whereas Alice, spells were simply enchanting. Greta's were deliriously diabolical. The brewing principle, whatever you chant, whatever you brew, sooner or later comes back at you. Greta never did her homework and often didn't listen in class. She was misbehaving as usual the day the class learned the most important lesson of all. The brewing principle, like I just read. Whatever you chant, whatever you brew, sooner or later, it comes back at you. Time passed, and before long, it was graduation day. Greta and Alice flew off to the world to weave their spells and work their witchery. Witchery, that's it. One day, Alice was flying high above the seashore, where she spotted a sailboat stranded on a sandbar. She waved her wand in circles high above her head and whispered, "Come now, moon, and turn the tide. Take this family for a ride." A huge wave rushed toward the boat and lifted it safely off the sandbar. The family waved their thanks. On the other side of the world, Greta, using the same spell, just a little differently, saw some children building a castle on a beach. And they had worked for hours on towers and tunnels and moat. Just as they finished, Greta waved her wand in circles high above her head and whispered, "Come now, moon, and turn the tide. Take this castle for a ride." An enormous wave crashed high onto the beach, sweeping the castle into the sea. Greta crackled, and she disappeared in a cloud as the children ran, crying, to their mothers. Meanwhile, Alex came upon a small boy in a field, calling for his lost puppy. Alice knew what to do. She waved her wand and chanted, "Alakazam, Alakazia, puppy dog reappear." And a sheepdog pup pounded out of the woods into the grateful boy's arms. Alice smiled and was on her way. At that moment, Greta was busy being a bad sport. She had passed a school soccer team playing for the league championship. As one girl was about to kick a goal, Greta waved her wand and chanted, "Alakazam, Alakazam, soccer balls disappear!" Not only did the girls' ball, but every ball on the field disappeared. The puzzled players searched until the dark. They couldn't find a single ball to finish the game. Everyone went home perplexed and disappointed. Greta snickered and flew home to her cave, delighted with her dirty work. The next day, Greta was sipping her morning cup of pond slime. She was bored. It was time for her to stir up some trouble. But where? She tossed around a few things into the cauldron. When the smoke cleared, she peered into the brew and muttered, "Time to brew, time to bubble, time to stir up a nasty trouble." In the boiling potion, she saw a school playground and children happily playing. Greta jumped on her broom and flew off in search of the school. Within minutes, she arrived at the same scene that appeared in her cauldron. Rubbing her hands with delight, Greta said, "The children are so sweet, but I can make them even sweeter." She waved her wand at the fluffy clouds overhead and crackled, "Icky, icky, yicky, gloppity glop, clouds spill down on the sticky soup." With a crash and a flash, and fluffy clouds appear, rain down on millions of melting marshmallows onto the children. At first, the children were delighted, but as soon as they realized they were stuck in the gooey, sticky marshmallow mess, they called for help. Greta just laughed and laughed. Alice heard the cries and appeared from behind a cloud. But before she could lift a wand to help, Greta spotted her. "Oh, no, you don't," she yelled and pointed her wand at Alice. "Icky, sticky, gloppity glue, another sweetie for the stew." A million more marshmallows fell on Alice. Before she knew it, she and her broomstick were pulled to the ground and stuck fast. Icky, sticky mess. She was helpless, unable to lift her magic wand. Alice struggled, desperate to think of what to do. She remembered something she had learned in school. She learned hard at Greta and said these words, "Whatever you chant, whatever you brew, sooner or later comes back to you." Nothing happened, so Alice added a little spell of her own. "Make it sooner, may it not too late. Help me now, I just can't wait." With that, the marshmallows lifted off Alice and the children and landed throop on top of Greta. The children crowded around Alice and cheered. To this day, Alice lives in her cave on the hill, where the view just keeps getting better and better. For now, Greta is stuck learning something she should have learned a long time ago.